Salante. This is yoga, free yoga class number 2 out of 100. These videos will be made available to the public once recorded after going live. For those who are tuning in and out throughout this beginning process of these recordings, thank you for your patience. I am still figuring out how I'm doing positioning. Each class will be different because every day is different and I can do different things different days. So today I am still moving slowly. If you tuned into the last live session, my back was hurting pretty bad, and it's still hurting. It's not quite as bad, but I'm sharing these parts of my personal body information, not to give you too much information, but to give you an idea of why I'm doing whatever practice it is that I'm doing on that particular day in that particular video. So today I'm having my period. I started having my period yesterday, and that seems to actually tie into the back pain that I get. I've started to notice that. And I also want to point out that I didn't start getting severe back pain until my late 20s. I'm going to be 38 in actually a few days. And when I was about 17, I was in an ATV accident. So between the ages of 17 and about 28, I was recovering from an accident. I started learning about yoga to recover from that accident, and I also started using drugs. And I heavily drank and used drugs throughout that time period from about 17 to about 28. And when I started getting sober, throughout that time period, I did different yoga trainings, and I continued to return specifically to hot yoga. And the main thing that drew me to that was that I've met people that were told they would never walk again, and they'd practiced the hot yoga and they walked again, and that made me a believer. So I don't know. All the rest of the logistics kind of go out the window when I meet people. I find those moments quite miraculous. So between those years, I was so high and drunk that I really wasn't feeling any pain in my body. And by the time I started getting sober in my late 20s, I all of a sudden would get jolts of pain through my back, through my lower back and my hips and my legs. And to the point of being unable to move completely. It started out at a few minutes at a time, about 5 minutes. And I'm not complaining. I'm actually making an observation. I just want you to understand this is a part of the process of the patience of the situation. If you are interested in yoga because of it's an alternative to using surgery or prescription drugs, then you're in the right place, because that's why I was called to use it. And I also think that God is also using me as a witness to the cautionary aspects of what happens when you use these practices, in the sense that if you're, for instance, using it to get high, like if you're using exercise or yoga or breathing exercises or meditation, because you get a physical high off of it, kind of like you would use a drug, you actually might find it harming you more than not. And I can speak more on that in other videos. If you are interested, please make comments and let me know. The more you write in the comment section, the more you write in the comment section, the more I'll be able to comment on. So I'll know what you specifically want me to speak about. So I do think that I am a witness to the both the positive and the negative aspects of using yoga and meditation and pranayama. And so any questions that you have, I've been doing this for about 20 years. I'm a pretty open book. I'm pretty open to answering. And something that I wanted to touch on specifically today was why I have all the prayer points in my playlist for these 100 yoga classes. Well, let me tell you, this is my theory after graduating from university this year. I did a lot of thinking. It took me 19 years to graduate and to even pick a degree to graduate with because I like so many subjects. But particularly in speaking to yoga, there's something called the 8 limbs of yoga, and this was created by someone called Patanjali a long, long time ago. And in it, it has something called yama, the niyamas, and it has the yamas and the niyamas each have 5 elements to them that help you to more or less show respect to yourself and then to the community and to your surroundings. And this is like basic ethics, like telling the truth, don't steal, study. It's very well thought out and very simple, and it's been around for a long time. And then you have sense withdraw, pranayama, asana, meditation, samadhi, and I wasn't planning on reciting this off the top of my head, but these are all branches of this tree, and there's 8 branches, and more or less, sometimes we like to look at life linearly, like if you do this, then you'll get there, but it's more or less, it's kind of all simultaneously happening at the same time, and you're kind of simultaneously working on all these different aspects of living, of the art of living, all at the same time. And I'm looking for this book. I'm looking for something for a book. I really want to be able to recite it, though. That's why I'm trying to recite it, but nonetheless. So you have these different aspects of the art of living, and asana is the postures. That's where you're doing the stuff that you see in pop yoga. You downward dog, child's pose, any of those are asanas. And people put those together in sequences, and they make kind of exercises out of them. And some of these exercises get you going and they get you pumped up, and some of these exercises help you calm down and get you ready for bed. Depends on what you need. Some of these exercises are for the mind, like it gets you more connected into your thought processes. And this is where we get into the meditation aspect of things. And it kind of seems like common sense in a way that you do these exercises, you get your energy out of your body so that you can be calm and think on whatever it is that you want to think about. And so, but in other ways, sometimes it's hard for us to use our bodies for some reason because we're stuck in our heads. So in this 8 limbs of yoga by Patanjali, you practice meditation is kind of an asana practice, but it's of the mind. And it's basically showing you that you're thinking to begin with. And the reason why it's important, like I was mentioning earlier in this video, it's not the dark side, but it's the cautionary side. It's that if you are not used to thinking about the fact that you're thinking, it can really, really shuffle some cards. It can really, really spill some milk, to say the least. There's actually rehabs for people that have had it's messed with their minds so much that they have had to go to rehab and like try to reestablish themselves. And it's definitely not unlike having like a crazy drug experience, like going through like a yoga training and then kind of trying to like recalibrate and go back into 9 to 5s is not unlike having like a crazy drug experience and trying to go like and talk to the world. It's like once you see certain things and have certain information and certain experiences, if we don't know how to like reintegrate, it can be very isolating. It can be a very isolating experience and hard to express. So once we get into the meditation, excuse me, I was checking on the light. Once we get into the meditation aspect of this yogic philosophy and practice, because it is not a one-time fit-all experience. It's a everyday practice, and every day you kind of have to start new, and you kind of start where you are, and you know, you use these different practices to be a ground to stand on. And so once you get to meditation, it's teaching you that you are thinking to begin with. And I like to say that it teaches you that how thought is an object. And then it teaches you what not to think. And once you start working with that space, there are several different ways that people meditate. I, for one, like the simple silent meditation. I'm a silent meditation gal. I like the sitting and finding a spot to focus on or a part to breathe with, and sitting and just going through the motions of what that's about. But people use sound, they use visualization, and it's all a tool. All of these are tools for us to help us realize how thought is object, and how these thoughts affect our everyday behaviors and the things that we say and believe and act on and agree with. So once we start to understand this, you are then in the place of prayer, okay? And so that's why once you realize that you're thinking and what not to think, then you find yourself talking kind of with God. And you find yourself in this collaborative conversation where you start listening to the way that you speak to yourself, to others, and to God. The way that, and one profound thing that I realized with prayer, specifically because you are thinking, you have a thought. It's a very specific thing. When you're requesting things from God, or you are, first of all, it's not a genie. It's not a rub the bottle, have a wish come true thing. It's not an emotion. So don't get it confused. You're not going to always reach a feeling when it comes to like a physical feeling or emotion. This is good. This feels good. This is pleasurable. That's not what it is. I think I got sidetracked. But the conversation, I learned that when I'm sitting there, say, God, take this for me. All of a sudden one day I realized the duality in that, and the things that seem so bad that I just want to be gone are deeply intertwined with the things that I think are so good. And if I give all those bad things up in my prayers to God, I also have to give up all the good things as well. I have to let go of those things too. And I have to trust that relationship, that apparent good and bad thing isn't at maybe what it seems. And I have to trust that God's working it out. And then it gets to this next level where you start to hear yourself. Like there's sometimes where I have to stop myself, and I'm sounding very demanding. There's other times where it seems very inappropriate to even request or even to think that. Because if God is all knowing and all witnessing, it seems very it undermines the innate intelligence and what that represents. Like, if God knows me better than I know myself, then what am I doing explaining myself to God? Like, if God knows me down to the hair on my head, then there's no explanation necessary. That's more for my own internal understanding. So when you get to a place of that where you're aware of the way that you're, so I'm saying, oh, I shouldn't even, like, I don't even need, like, it's inappropriate of me to even think to talk to God. So you start to notice your language, and if you're being gentle in it or demanding, and how that what does that mean? Like, is that how you talk to God? It's like, no. And but then you get to the next level where, so I'm seeing people, by the way, coming in and out of this, and so I'm not sure really how to incorporate y'all's presence. So if there's anything I can do to be of support, please write a message in the comment section. I hope that I made that available. And yeah, say your name. Tell me where you're coming from. What do you love yoga? Hi. Do you love yoga? Have you ever done it before? Meditation? What kind of yoga do you practice? What are you interested in when it comes to yoga? Have you been practicing for a long time? Do you meditate? Do you do pranayama? Do you so then do you pray? Nonetheless, then you start to ask God, what can you do for God? Then you get to this place where you realize, oh, well, if God is all-knowing, then God's will be done. And you find that you aren't as offended as the blueprint that God has for your life as you might have been to begin with. Because at first that blueprint can seem very controlling. It can seem very like that's against my will. I didn't choose that for myself. But in other ways, it's also like, oh, how sweet of you, God. You knew that. You knew that that's what I would need. And then in those relationships, that intimate relationship is something that really, again, needs no explanation. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I have prayer points. These are the ones that I've been called to study. And if you have any that you like to share, mostly I find it that the prayers help me in my later years, in these recent years, with anxiety. I've had it physically help me. I've used Hanuman's mantra for nightmares, and like having headaches, and have the headache physically leave me like within minutes. And I've had other prayers that I just kind of use in my heart. I really like using Archangel Michael. I like praying with Archangel Michael for protection. It always brings me warm feelings. As far as healing goes, the Holy Spirit and is kind of I don't know. I've done a lot of thinking about it, and the Prince of Peace. If you're in the healing realm, then get right with the Prince of Peace. If you're not, because that's where a lot of miracles and healing happen. And so I don't know. There's different expressions of the divine that I tend to be put off by, like cultish religious doctrines, but I do find that all the different religions do have prayers for peace and protection and healing, and I love learning about it from the different people that actually practice it and live it. But so that's why I have the prayer points, and those are just a few. Like, that's just like one word, and that's one thing that I learned that I love in yoga. Like you can. There are thousands of postures, thousands of words, thousands of texts. There's so much to learn. So don't get overwhelmed by all the information. Just like pick one or two or three things that just kind of really sit with you, and sit with them and work with them until you're, until you have made space for something new, until it's time to let go of those other things, and then reincorporate it all back into each other, because there's a lot of information. And again, I've written it in the description box, but these are all for educational purposes. And if this is all new to you, yoga in general, please do check with your doctor, your therapist, and talk with them about your psychologist, your dentist. I don't know. Talk with your doctor if you are incorporating yoga into your regimen for the first time, so you don't hurt yourself or get hurt. And congratulations if you're trying something out. It is an alternative to prescription and prescription drugs and surgeries. So let's get started with today's class. Like I said at the beginning of this, it was I'm having my period and my back is hurting. So we're gonna be utilizing the chair today and doing a lot of sitting. And I want to talk with you about more about different the posture of sitting. Key points to bring your attention to, and I want to make sure that I'm getting this video. So give me a second to check this video, make this video right. And I also want to invite, while I'm getting myself cleaned up here, I would like to invite Archangel Michael and our individual spirit guides and spirit teams into this space to protect and guide us during this practice, and just to protect us from any and all evil, and to help us to stay connected to truth and God. And I truly pray and hope that this helps someone. And in Jesus' name I pray, amen. So, as I get this chair set up here, let me see. Let me see. You see my feet? Okay. So like I was saying earlier, different people use different things to help them to stay focused during meditation. So you might find someone pulling out a singing bowl, which is one of these things. These singing bowls come in all different shapes and sizes. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Like this one has a different symbol on the bottom, and I will get this one right here. This one's for the root chakra. And all of these ones with these metals are made by hand, by people, and so you might hear someone playing one of these during a meditation, and people use sound to clear the air. Like you use an incense to make it smell better. People use sound to clear the air. I wrote in my description box that I have a certificate in singing bowl massage, and I took a training in person once, and basically it's a kind of a cool practice for those who don't want to be directly touched. So within the singing bowl, who are you? Where do you come from? Why do you like yoga and meditation? What kind of yoga do you study? So this is the singing. What they do, one of the things they do is they'll take hot water. If you don't want to be directly touched, you use the bowl as the medium, and you massage, and it's in this nice round shape, and you kind of use it like you would the palm of your hand, and you massage the different body parts with the singing bowl. And sometimes they put hot water in it, and it's warm, and it feels nice and warm. And then they'll line the bowls up on the body in the different parts, and they align the sound with the different parts of the body. So this one, this one's for your root chakra. So this is involving your legs, your feet, and your tailbone. And if you were getting a singing bowl massage, you would put it kind of down in this vicinity, and people would play it, and it clears you out, and and people use these sounds to tune into as a form of meditation. You might see someone light a candle. I like that. I think that's a really nice thing to do, is using a, hello, how are you? What's your name? Where do you come from? Why do you like yoga? Do you meditate? What kind of yoga do you study? Sometimes people use a candle, and they will stare at the flame, and staring at the flame is really nice, a nice kind of focus point. And when you get more advanced, you pick an internal thought, to think about, or when you're sitting there, you think about the feeling of the breath coming in and out of your nose. How does it feel when you breathe in your nose? How does it feel when you breathe out of your nose? I find myself when I'm in deepest concentration, using something called the Ujjayi breath. And the Ujjayi breath, you are inhaling through the back of your throat and into your heart. And it kind of sounds like a wave, or like it sounds like when you have a seashell up in that you listen to the sound of the seashell. So one way to make the breath is you go like you're putting steam on a cold window, and then you close your mouth. And you do that going outwards and inwards, and you're not so much breathing through your nostrils, but you're breathing more through your throat and your heart in this area. And you would just basically practice for the given amount of time, from 5 minutes to 5 hours, that same breath, and you continue to return to that. And that's why you start small. You don't start with 5 hours. You'll discourage yourself, and you might hurt yourself. And then there's different types of breaths too that have they'll give you energy, or they'll help you calm down. And depending on if you, for our purposes, for stress reduction, you're not going to want to do as much heated, fast breathing as you're going to want to do kind of more slow belly breathing. If you're trying to be calm and more grounded, you're going to want to breathe into your belly. Now, one way I like to get us into our belly is with laughing. So you go ha 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 ha. And notice when I go ha ha, my stomach goes in. Ha 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 ha. Now you're going to do that, but you're going to close your mouth. And that's getting you in your belly and just making you aware of that area. Eventually, you'll take that breath and you'll slow it down. So now that we've talked a little bit about things that we focus on, like the breath, or something to think about, or not think about, often in the meditation aspect, you'll get thoughts that come and go, and you just don't really want to get attached to any of them. I like to think of them as moving horizontally, and it's kind of like upward fishing. And the minute that you fish and hook into that thought and pull it down, that's when you start manifesting shit. And not all these thoughts are yours or original thoughts. Not all these thoughts belong to us. They're just kind of there in the ether. And So a thought will go by when you're meditating, like a fish swimming in the sea. And if you cast out and try to catch that thought and make it yours and try to manifest something out of that thought, that's a distraction from meditation. You want to just let that thought keep swimming in the ocean of thoughts. Just there it goes. There's a school of thoughts. Bye. And just another thing you can do is notice in your body physically, where do you feel that thought? And you can bring your attention to that, and you really won't be able to pinpoint an actual place. Like when it comes down to it, it's because it's an idea. It doesn't actually have a place in the 3D. Like you might like have like you know how you get butterflies at like the thought of a date or like a crush. I learned in recent years that that's actually not a good sign. That's a sign that something's off. But you can't pinpoint specifically, you can't touch one of those butterflies. Like it's there, you can feel it, you can articulate where you're feeling it, but if you were to actually try to touch one of those feelings and those butterflies, you can't. So staying with that throughout the meditation, when you feel the thought and notice where you're trying to pinpoint it, and then it kind of just goes away like the wind. So like I said, I like the silent meditation because, as you can see, I'm a talker. So silent meditation for me helps me to focus, and it really has taught me a lot about the internal dialogue and the internal conversation. Because I can sit here like this. Watch, ready? I'm still talking. Like in my heart, I'm still saying stuff. Okay? So like, now watch this. At that point, I was not. I was taking effort to consciously not be having an internal thought. And even on the moment when I was having the internal thought, like there's a difference between just letting the thoughts run. Like it's not so much talking shit as it is stream of consciousness, and then controlling those words and choosing where that conversation goes. So let's talk about body parts. So we have our feet, we have our legs, we have our sits bones and our hips, we have our spine and our shoulders, we have our chest and our belly, we have our head, we have our hands and our arms. There's different postures you can take. You can sit in a chair, you can sit on, I think it's pronounced Zambuton. I'm probably saying it wrong. Just get a pillow or a book, a big fat book, and put a blanket on top of it. You get one of these, you can sit on one of these. You can, now mind you, I have back problems, so I've had to do some exploration of what works for me and what doesn't. You can use one of these. Now notice how this is built. See how it has a slant on the wood? That's because when in the meditation posture, we want our knees below our hips. So whether you're sitting in a chair or whether you're sitting on a pillow with your legs crossed, or whether you're sitting kneeling in thunderbolt pose, you want your hips slightly elevated above your knees. So with that said, I'll do that. I'll get myself there. One thing that is nice, if you put on a timer of some sort, it kind of helps you not have to worry about time, like having to check a clock. So that's something you might want to utilize if you want like to set the, and again, start small. Start 5 to 10 minutes and then slowly add a minute, each day. And Some say that that is the goal of yoga, is to meditate. And I would say that the goal then of meditation is to be able to pray. Just the goal to be able to sit in peace and silence with yourself and with your surroundings and just be is the ultimate goal. Some would call that enlightenment. And, it's kind of funny, thoughtlessness. It's like thoughtlessness in the best way. Your mom or grandma says, don't be so, your teacher says, whatever. There's good moms and grandmas and teachers, but whoever says you're being thoughtless, that's like, in our case, that's a good thing. That's the goal. And now you also have your let's get back to the body. You also have your forehead, your third eye, and you have your tongue and jaw. Okay, so we want our tongue and our jaw and our forehead to be relaxed. If you look at pictures of the Buddha, oftentimes the Buddha, you'll see kind of looking down towards the middle of the nose, right? So if you take your finger, did you ever play that game when you were a kid, where you pull your finger until it crosses your eyes? So if you take your finger, I want you to take it out as far as you can out in front of you, and then pull it in until right before your eyes start to cross. And that space is kind of where you're going to bring your gaze, your eyes aren't fully focused on anything, but they aren't closed. And your attention using kind of your third eye is kind of more looking right about here, right about here. They say about 3 to 5 feet out in front of you is a good gazing spot. I've found that when I look down, I get more tired. And when I look up, I feel more inspired or something. But I might be saying that wrong. But there is a difference. And I tend to not use my eyes as much during the practice as I use my breath as my point of concentration. Now, for people that use this type of silent meditation, it's really good for people who have ADD and are trying to use it as an alternative to ADHD medications. If you were to do this practice about 10 to 20 minutes before class or before doing homework or having to concentrate on something, it does wonders. It really brings you into your body in a non-judgmental way, and it kind of helps you to clear out the thoughts and and helps you to utilize your breath. What I want you to remember with breath work is it is not breath control. It is not a controlling spirit. You're not in a power struggle with your breath. It's breath work. And the more advanced you get, basically you're able to bring your attention to different things and give breath to it. And that's amazing to know for both self-healing and just for moving through the world and understanding your connection to it. But it's not about controlling something or someone. It's more about just being, every breath is a gift, every breath. So another thing to keep in mind too is to drink water after you meditate for a while. I'm drinking coffee, but after the meditation, drink coffee. Now, for those who do not like practicing silence and who for that is completely offensive, which I can understand in many cases why that would be a thing, you can make sounds. there's a way that you could say Om. We'll just stick with Om, and you can just sit there in your posture and repeat the sound Om. So I think we're going to start with that, and then we're going to move into a silent meditation. So we'll start with sound, and we'll just say Om, and eventually we'll quiet that down. With each Om, I want you to bring your attention to different body parts. So for the first Om, bring your attention to your feet when you say Om. And for the second Om, bring your attention to your seat and your knees and your hands. And then for the next Om, I want you to bring your attention to your chest and your heart and your belly. And then for the final Om, I want you to bring your attention to your throat and your eyes and your head. So, what's that? We're going to go Om. We're thinking of our feet. Then we're going to say Om, and we're thinking of our knees and our hands and our legs and our seat. And then we're going to say Om, and we're thinking of our heart and our chest and our belly. Then we're going to say Om. We're thinking of our throat and our third eye and our head. And then last but not least, we'll say Om. And we'll think of our back and our spine and our arms. Ready? Here we go. Feet. Om. Inhale. Hands and knees and seat. Exhale. Inhale. Inhale. Heart and chest and belly. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Throat, third eye, and top of head. Inhale. Exhale, back and arms. Inhale. Again. From the bottom. Feet. Inhale. Seat, hands, legs. Exhale. Inhale. Heart, chest, belly. Exhale. Inhale. Throat, third eye, top of head. Inhale. Back of neck, spine, and arms. And again, feet. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Seat, hands, legs. Inhale. Heart, chest, belly. Exhale. Inhale. Throat, third eye, top of head. Inhale. Back of neck, spine, arms. Now bring your attention to your tailbone. We're going to sit with our tailbone in our hip space for a few ohms. Inhale, and just think about your tailbone. And if you have a uterus, as you know, I'm having my period, so I'm going to give my uterus a little extra love right now. So I'm going to inhale, and when we say Om, again, we're thinking about those specific body parts and using that sound to revitalize and bring attention to those specific areas. So the tailbone and the uterus, if you have a uterus. I'm going to go ahead and inhale. And exhale. Excuse me. Inhale. Inhale. We're going to inhale. And on the next exhale, I'd like you to close your mouth and say the Om, but without any sound. Exhale. Inhale. And again on the exhale, say Om, but internally. And then fully exhale. Push all the air out. Inhale. Don't say any Om. Fill up your belly and your chest. At the top of the breath, making no sound, say Om. And then exhale. Open your mouth. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale, fill up your belly. Fill up your chest. At the top of the breath, making no sound, say an Om. And then exhale. Through an open mouth. Very good, very good, very good. So this is pranayama, this is breath work, and this is also getting us ready for meditation. By learning how to bring our attention and our breath together in our body, we are then able to kind of allow it to do its own thing and to trust in that process in a deeper and way. All right, so for the final part, I need to check how long we've been going here. 52 minutes. So that's great. We'll do about an 8-minute meditation. And I'm going to put on the timer. And I'll have the timer on the floor, like right out in front of me. So that's where I'm going to be looking. My gaze will be down. And I'm not going to speak for 8 minutes, but I will get us into the silence. And once the timer goes off, I'll lead you out of the moment. Good old stopwatch. And if you've made it this far throughout this, thank you for sticking through this. It's a great honor to get to teach someone today. I am grateful. Thank you. And I truly hope it's helped you and anybody who's watched this. I am offering one-on-one personalized classes for free for a limited time. And if you are interested, email me at letyourShakyHandsDraw369@yahoo.com. I'll give you further information there. Again, this is all for free. I have to continue to get teaching hours, and it's a part of the process. And it's more than welcome if you want to donate to my channel, and so I can make more yoga videos. And the two main goals that I have are to open a yoga business and to teach in prisons. So teaching in prisons is not a lucrative career, but it is fulfilling in other ways. So that's part of the reason why I want to open a yoga business, so that I can, maintain. Working in prisons tends to be nonprofit related stuff. And, but that's part of my journey. So if that's something that you're interested in working in prisons or teaching yoga or meditation in prisons, please do reach out to me. I have some resources for you. And yeah, it's very it's not for everyone. All right, 8 minutes. We'll do an 8-minute meditation, and this has been a more of a mellow class today because it needs to be. And if you're having your period, get some rest, and God bless you. Honor yourself. Honor your body. All right, so I've pressed the start. So this is we're going to get into the seat, the posture. Whether you're sitting on the floor or in a chair, please make sure that your knees are slightly below your hips. The chair, sitting in the chair is really great for someone who has back problems, by the way, in case you are struggling with that. So then go ahead and just bring your attention briefly to your feet, your hands, your hips, your upper back, your third eye, and your inhale, and your exhale. Pick a spot in front of you, a few feet out in front of you, to return to throughout this. And we'll be here for about 8 minutes. Continuing to breathe. Your belly fills up on the inhale, and on the exhale, it empties. Making a slight sound with your breath on the inhale, and a slight sound with your breath on the exhale. Keeping your spine erect, but not flexed. Jaw is relaxed. Tongue is relaxed. Eyelids are relaxed. All right. Begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. And swallow a little bit. Bring your chin to your chest. And lift your chin to the ceiling. And bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Your head back to center. Now take your hands, put them down at your sides, and stretch your fingers out so you're making a big five with each of them. Getting a stretch in your arms. Really stretch through your fingers. See how stretched my hands are? I want them looking like that. And stretch through your middle fingers all the way out. Lift your chest and bring your right ear to your right shoulder. As far as you need to move, right when you get to the edge, to the stretch, stay there and breathe. And exhale. Inhale your head back up to center. Exhale, reach again through your arms. And bring your left ear to your left shoulder. And right when you start to feel that edge and that stretch through your whole arm down to your fingertips, just breathe into that for a little bit. Inhale. Exhale, reaching a little further. Inhale. Release your head back up to center. And let's stand up for a minute here. So if you're coming up from the ground, carefully get yourself up to standing. And we're going to just do some final light stretching. Bring your hands to your lower back. And just do a little bit of a back bend. Look up to the ceiling. Push your hips forward. And then what I want you to do is I want you to take the tops of your foot and I want you to bring the tops of your feet to the ground and let the tops of your feet of your right foot get a stretch. So if this is your foot, I want you to take the top of it and put it on the ground and stretch the front of your ankle, your right ankle. Release that side and then point your left toe and then bring the top of your left foot to the ground next to your right foot and stretch your left ankle. Ground through your right hip, or your right heel, excuse me. Stretching the top of your left ankle. Very nice. Now stand with your toes and heels together and put your hands again at your lower back just to protect it. And we're going to just do circles with our hips. So I'm going counterclockwise with my hips. Gently pushing my hip forward, bringing it out to the left, back, out to the right, and then forward again. And we're just getting the blood flowing after all that sitting. I don't know where you are, but where I'm at, it's not even afternoon, so there's a day ahead of us. I'm not trying to go to sleep. Now switch the rotation. Now I'm going clockwise. Just getting some blood flowing through the hips, all through the body after all that hour of sitting. Ooh. And when you're ready, stand again And do another back bend. Push your hips a little forward. Bring your chin up to the ceiling. Let your head hang back. And shake out your shoulders. Close your eyes and shake your head. Do you like heavy metal music? Because I do. Are you a headbanger? Now would be a good time to do a slight headbang. Please be careful and don't hurt yourself. Okay. And then I want you to take a step out. Have about 3 feet in between each of your feet. And again, shake your hips. Shake your body out. And then take your hands, make them into little fists, and gently pat your arms. Take your right hand and pat your left arm all the way up and down it. And then take your left hand, ball it into a little fist, and pat your right arm and shoulder and elbow, forearm. And take both of your fists, pat your legs and your front of your hips, up your belly, and your chest, and go, ah, I'm alive, yeah. Now, pat the side of your hips, down your legs, all the way down to your feet. Pat the bottom of your feet. Now I want you to tap your head a little bit. We're going to put our head below our heart for a second to give us some energy. Ready? Let's see. I'm going to do it this way because I have to be careful. Okay, so I'm on my knees and I'm going to put my hands on the ground. And then I'm going to put my top of my head on the ground. Can you see me? Ready? I don't know if you can actually see this. There we go. So, just to get a little blood flow after all that sitting, I'm going to just put my head on the ground. And wait a few minutes. And I'm going to imagine myself as a seed. And I'm going to go ahead and water myself. And I'm going to start to grow out of the ground. And I'm going to reach towards the light. And I'm going to express myself. Oh, am I a flower? Am I a tree? I don't know. If there's a flower pose in yoga, maybe we should invent one. Okay. Do you know of a flower pose in yoga? Give yourself a hand. Have a good day. Again, leave me comments. Where are you from? Where are you doing yoga from? Why are you interested in yoga? What brings you here? Meditation, pranayama, philosophy, ethics, curiosity. Do you already practice? Have you ever practiced yoga before? Again, I'm offering one-on-one classes for free for a limited time. If you are really interested, email me. The email is written in my description box on my page. And again, it's free for a limited time because I'm getting 100 hours under my belt. And that's, if you feel inclined to donate because you want to, I am welcoming donations as well. And yes, thank you for being here. I would love to hear more about you. And if you have questions regarding yoga during these classes, please write them in the comments because I'll make my classes around those questions, and I'll bring answers to each of my classes for you. So I look forward to hearing more from you, and may as Cindy Trim would say, may the best of our todays be the worst of our tomorrows. God bless you. God keep you. And pray for someone. And everything is exactly as it should be. You're the right size. You're the right age. You're the right gender. You're the right. You're on your way. And it's all good. And God's timing is perfect. And just remember that God is good all the time. God isn't an emotion that you can feel, and it's not a wishing well or a genie bottle that you can make wishes on. You can depend on the fact that God is always good, even when we're not, and that is amazing. And so carry that with you today, and may God cover you and keep you and favor you and help you with whatever you need help with. And I truly hope that these yoga classes do something positive for your life. This means peace. This means peace. And in sign language, this means I love you. And this means thank you.